Hey, good morning. It's Jane with the Compassion Project, and I am so honored and so excited to have Wayne Lee here. And so we're going to chat today, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about this amazing man who I was lucky enough to meet about 20 years ago, I think. And so Wayne lives in Edmonton, Alberta. He is married to his beautiful wife, Nicole, and has two incredible children, Ledger and Ivy. So Wayne is a peak performance expert and an international keynote speaker and award-winning entertainer. He's an incredible person. So as a former teacher and a 5-time Canadian amateur wrestling champion, that's amazing, Wayne, he is fueled by an unrelenting passion for empowering people. So Wayne values the magic and unlimited potential that we all have within us, which I totally agree with. He's done over 6,000 performances, sharing his message through entertainment and hypnosis. And I have been lucky enough to have been hypnotized by this man a long time ago where I was very skeptical. I'll never forget that. So he helps people realize their self-limiting beliefs and understand the power of the subconscious mind. And I really believe during this time of uncertainty, we all need to understand the power of our subconscious mind. I just think this is so important. So he's also currently writing a book called Full Alignment, which I am looking forward to when that comes out. But so I would love for you to share with people, what has happened with you. I know you're really busy before and doing all these shows, and now you're experiencing this global pandemic and social distancing. So how is it affecting your life? And I just want you to share what's going on with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jane. It's a pleasure to connect, and how time flies. Like 20 years goes by in a snap. So
I know.
It's good to reconnect. And like I was saying before, I mean, the fact that this is happening and we're kind of in the social distancing and isolation and all that stuff, we get to connect by doing this. So one of the things is a positive thing, obviously, is people have gotten online more, able to connect, able to share, and be real about it. So the reality for me, in a nutshell, is February. I had my best month of closing bookings, like live events, putting them on the calendar. It was like, yes, big success. Could not see what was going to happen in the next month or so, because then all of a sudden, I remember actually being an event here in Edmonton and all of this was going on, but it was the last event that I was actually just attending as a participant. And it was that day, I think, that the news came out that the NHL was shut down, the NBA, I think it was NBA, and that was it. Then I was supposed to go into April and have my busiest month of the year, which was 12 to 13 events, which is right now. In Vegas. And so that was all gone. Now, shifted, canceled, postponed, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's not doing what I'm loving right now. And so it was a profound shift for me in regards to, well, what do I do next? What do I do now? And so I think over the years, there's been enough challenges that I've had in my life and things that I've had where I've been able to adapt or be flexible enough. And in this case, it was obviously that's what I had to apply it to, going, okay, what's next? And again, you mentioning the book that I've been writing for quite some time, it really was the universe saying, hey, time to write the book, time to get it out there. Time to get over my thoughts about, is it going to be good enough? It's going to be perfect. Get it out. Because ultimately, the way I'm looking at it now is that if I don't get it out, I'm robbing myself of doing the creative thing that I love to do, which is get that message out there, as well as the people that can benefit from it. Because serving others is really, I think, now more than ever, we realize how we can serve others. There's always a way. And if it's not getting on stage and doing a live event, what is it for me? And so hence even doing this, I turned my office into a production studio. So yesterday it took me hours to do one video and I looked at it as a big success. And the reason why is because I figured it out.
Yeah.
And I realized it's going to get better. And I always go back to my days of starting out doing the hypnosis shows where I started to do the shows, and I started to do the shows, and then before I knew it, it became a love. I messed up a whole lot, but through the messing up, I realized that I got a message out of there. There was something profound that came out of there, and the entertainment aspect started to also fine tune. And so, doing something over and over and over, you just get better at, and you develop one thing that you need, which is a skill.
Yeah.
And so that's where I am today. I feel like, there's lots of opportunities for me to get stuff out there, to create videos, go online, all that. But it doesn't come without challenges. Like, the kids are at home now.
Yeah.
My kids are young enough where they got to do their online schooling. School's, no longer happening in terms of the traditional sense. And we have ups and downs in the house where we're going to make sure we get some routines in there. We're going to get outside running, make sure we're getting into nature, and keeping myself into a routine too. So there's certain things that I've been doing that have helped. I can share that.
Yeah. I think it's so important for people to have a routine, or just try to create they have to have a new normal, because we don't know how long this is going to go on for, right? How old are your kids again?
So 8 and 11. My boy's 8 and Ivy's 11. So it's, they're going through, Ivy's just going through, she's going to be in grade 7 next year. So along with this change, there's also hormonal changes, maturity changes. So it's all coming at us. And the other side of it is, it gives us like, in terms of the challenges, but it gives us a chance to do some things that we might not have been doing. Connecting, playing cards, doing games. Like this morning, the kids and I went out for a run, and it was amazing, because we're in nature, the sun's shining, the kids are like running, going, "I'm going to beat you, Daddy." This is like awesome. So that was a highlight of the day for sure.
Yeah.
And then getting them back in. And then one of the things is that keeping them off of those digital devices for long enough so they're not just glued there all day.
Yeah, it's true. When my daughter Jenny was here at Christmas with her family, we started this thing every night at supper from Matt's children. They're from Australia, and it's our favorite part of the day. So before we eat, we'd sit down to eat, say, "What's your favorite part of the day?" And each of us would say what it was, and it was just a really fun moment. I was thinking your kids with their, favorite part of the day, running with Daddy through the woods. It's time to appreciate the joy and
that's. Jane, that's a great question, is, what was the best part, or what was the favorite part of the day? And my kids also know me, that being the motivational guy, or the hypnotist. And so it's funny, because, like, if I ask that question, they're like, "Oh, Daddy." But if I can slip it in the right way, and finally they're like, "Oh, this was great to do this. It was great to do that. Oh, the cards were awesome." So cultivating that energy going in the right direction is really important nowadays for people to have those things that they can focus upon that are great experiences, because we can go throughout the day and have some amazing experiences, but we may tend to focus on what's missing or the lack, and that's what fulfills our energy or our perspective. So I think that, you can look at two different people or two different sets of family, and their response is completely different to what's happening nowadays.
Yeah. So I would love to help people understand the difference between hypnosis and say, like really what hypnosis is, because I think it does. I'm thinking you'll agree with me that it has a different connotation. Like, people think of, "Ooh, you're going to hypnotize me," like as if you're controlling. But it's very similar to meditation, isn't it? And getting into that controlling and being aware of your thoughts, because I think it's important for people to understand that and be aware of their thoughts right now, so they can help with fear and uncertainty and all that.
Yeah, so it's a great question, Jane, and I've been doing a lot of posts lately. I've been going on Facebook Live and talking about how meditation and hypnosis are really the same. So the one difference, or the one distinction I'll make is, or first of all, I'll say this. If I told people right now, "Hey, come and join me for a guided meditation at 2:00, we'll do it." And the next day I'll say, "Come and join me for a guided hypnosis session," they would virtually be the same thing.
Right.
So it's a perception. So I'll make the distinction is typically meditation, the objective of meditation is, through whatever means possible, whether it's breathing, focusing on a sound or saying a mantra to yourself. It's to quiet your mind.
Right.
So hypnosis, the goal of hypnosis, and if you go way back to the history of hypnosis, and it's a misnomer, first of all, because it means sleep in the Greek word, hypno, it's not sleep. You're aware, you just don't care. As you fully know, you've experienced that. Shaking your head,
Yeah.
yes. So you're highly aware. You're in a focused state. Where hypnosis may differ is this: quieting the mind, adding suggestions.
Yes. Do you know that I remember when the first time I was hypnotized by you, I was very skeptical, and I said to my husband, if I go up there on that stage and I'm all like this,
Yeah.
then it's true, because I'm not going to let that happen. And I remember going on the stage, and you did the whole hypnosis thing, and some people were taken down because they weren't hypnotized, and others were deep in it. And I fought it. And in the middle, I got up and said, no, no, no. And I don't know if you remember this. And I sat down with my husband. I'm like, I'm not hypnotized. And you came behind me and said, her subconscious is fighting her conscious mind, and so you need to talk me out of it. And it was so empowering. And I remember you giving me these powerful suggestions, whatever. And I thought, how amazing that was. What I've come to realize is that I can actually do that to myself. I don't need you to put me in a state to say these positive affirmations. Back then, I was just like, oh, Wayne said these to me,
The gig is up. I'm no longer the guru. And you said it best, Jane, is that you can do it to yourself. And my whole goal since I got into this has been I call it the 3 E's. I always had this sense of I wanted to entertain, educate, that's my teaching background, I always love to teach, and to empower. True empowerment comes from people owning their own life and their own sense of who they are, their potential and their power, and then using it.
Yeah.
And if you look at, I call it everyday hypnosis. In this current reality that we're living in right now, you can either go on social media and find everything negative that you want, and you are in a trance, sucked into the vortex of negative hypnosis.
Yeah.
That is it. And so every time that you have a feeling that is a feeling of angst or frustration or a negative feeling, as we say, that comes from usually a thought that's clashing with who you truly are. Your heartfelt desire, call it source, call it spirit, call it God. That's just another name for what I really believe is the oneness of who we are. Now I'm getting a little spiritual.
Yeah.
And I know there's probably a lot of ladies out there, but they resonate more with the emotional element of what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
And so when people get into alignment with their beliefs and who they are, they'll feel good.
Right.
So hypnosis is really how we're talking to ourselves every day, all day long, or the beliefs and programs that we're taking from other people. And knowing that many of the things that we've been hypnotized into believing today is actually a gift to let us know that we have this awareness to wake up to go, that's not necessarily a thought or belief that's serving me. And so reprogramming actually comes down to being able to get past the resistance of what we have, because a lot of people own their negative beliefs and they fight for them.
Right.
And so it's about letting go, surrendering, and getting in alignment with your subconscious, which is really, you're the programmer of that. I know I'm going on a rant, but you can tell I'm passionate about it.
It's so true though, because, but it takes becoming aware of how you think. And I think some of us from such a young age have been programmed just from our life and the way we've grown up, that we think we're a certain way, believe we're a certain way. And it's not easy to change. It takes a lot of work. But I was thinking, like, for people that aren't aware or want to make changes, is that early morning the best time when you wake up to do meditation and stuff, where your brain is more in that state?
I know that there's a lot of research out there. We were talking before we jumped on the call here, is that there's research where your brain wakes up and it's in a more of a state to be receptive for that. I think that when you wake up, my take on it is, why not kick off your day in the best way you can? So by saying something like a ritual, an affirmation, a mantra, and then get your body moving is one of the ways I do it, because I feel like once I can, before this all was happening, I would go to Orange Theory in the morning at 5:30, and people say, 5:30, that's often. And I'm not necessarily a morning person, but I knew it was so important for me to kick off my day just to feel so good. So whether it's people quieting their mind and adding suggestions or moving their body, it's important to kick off your day with some type of morning ritual to get you to feel good.
I agree. I started getting up at 5:20. I think it was in January. I used to get up at 6:30, and I just realized I needed to get up earlier. I created a space downstairs with spin bikes and meditation area, and so I start my day off strong.
Yeah.
But we're all different. I have friends that like to sleep in. My husband likes to sleep in. But the interesting thing is that when I first, you'll laugh at this, when I first was like, I'm going to get up at 5:30. My brain was like, oh, 5:30, that's so early. And I would go to sleep and like, I don't want to get up at 5:30. And in the middle of the night, I'd look at the clock. It would be 2 o'clock. I'm like, only 3 hours left. Oh, this is horrible. And I was convincing myself how awful this early morning was. And then I read or listened to something about you have to change the way you talk to yourself. Convince yourself that it's fun. So honestly, my husband thinks I'm crazy. So I'd be like, I'm so excited to get up at 5:30 tomorrow. I started saying to myself.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I can't wait. And then in the middle of the night, I'd be like, ooh, can't wait. 3 hours, I get up. At first, it was just talking to myself. But after about a week of that, I got excited about getting up at 5:20. And I would wake up.
Yeah.
And it's like I convinced myself that it was a good thing. Like the power of your mind, right?
Yeah. See how powerful of a hypnotist you are?
Hypnotize myself.
Yes, that's exactly what you did. We're hypnotizing ourselves in and out of things all day long.
So it's all how we talk to ourselves.
It is. It's how we talk to ourselves. And then it's about the pictures and the images that come up in our mind. For instance, if you hear language like, what's the vision of the company? Or what's your life look like? That's all visual. That's all okay. And one thing that I did years ago, you mentioned about amateur wrestling. That was one thing that changed my life. I used to do a lot of visualization, guided imagery, and I picked up a book when I was doing that called Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain. And it was reinforcing what I was already doing in wrestling, which was clearly seeing this outcome and training of what I was doing. And I actually would not just be watching it, I would be physically feeling as though I was doing it.
Okay.
So I call it kinesthetic hypnosis, like you're actually in it. And I wasn't the greatest wrestler or athlete, but I put in a lot of time. I trained hard, I practiced, and wow, did I ever use the power of my mind without even realizing how powerful it was.
Yeah.
And so those images that come up will also lead to a feeling. So here's the most important thing that I'm going to leave in terms of what I get really excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Our feelings are the voice of our subconscious mind. So like a GPS, and I've coined it, great programmable subconscious. Your great programmable subconscious is always giving powerful signals, because let me ask you a question. When somebody gets more money, how will they feel?
They'll feel good.
When they are in better health, how will they feel?
They'll feel great.
What are we looking for anytime that we want something physical or tangible? The feeling of it.
What are we looking for?
The feeling of it.
The feeling of having it, yeah.
So why not feel it now and enjoy the ride until you get it? Now, here's what a lot of people do. They delay success and they feel that they're not good enough, that they're empty, or maybe they're broken. And no one needs to be fixed. I always say in the presentation, the only thing that needs to be fixed is your focus. And you can always feel your focus, because in one moment when you think that, wow, I'm grateful for this, you feel good. And in the next moment you can feel lack. And it always is because of what you're focusing on. So when you shift your focus, you can shift everything. The challenge with your focus, though, is that 80% of your focus comes from a subconscious habitual response.
Yeah.
We wake up in the morning, we tend to have our day set because of our habits. The good news is that you can always reprogram and create a new habit like you did getting up in the morning.
Yeah.
And
well, I actually did a course called Change Your Habits, Change Your Life with Bob Heilig. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, with Bob Pike, you said?
Bob Heilig, his name is.
Okay.
Change Your Habits, Change Your Life. And it's just it was really empowering on become aware of your habits that aren't serving you and reprogramming your mind to get in a new habit loop, they call it. Yeah.
The years ago, I created that little book, Life's Magical Meanings, and the word habit, the acronym I have for habit is having a belief ingrained totally.
Oh, wow. That's good.
So when you have a belief ingrained totally,
I'm going to write that one down.
yeah, and I'll send you the image to it. I'll send you the book too, so you can share it. Is having a behavior ingrained totally. They go hand in hand. Your beliefs drive your behavior.
Yeah.
So when you continually reprogram yourself with new, powerful, positive thoughts and beliefs, they eventually become stored in your subconscious, your GPS. And when they are in alignment with what you want, your heartfelt desire, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
You feel it. You
Amazing.
feel it.
Yeah, you feel it.
The other thing I wanted to back up and kind of bring your attention to is you said something that is a belief, and it's based on your experience and all of our experiences in terms of it's brought us to a place. You said it's hard to change.
Did I say that?
You did. And you may have been relating to other people. It's hard.
No.
And I get it. I've been through places where it's like, I think it might be hard to change. And I tell myself a story is like, well, say before this event happened with COVID, I was like, I just want to do live events. People hire me. I'll go out there and I'll do my thing. That was easy for me.
Yeah.
What might be harder is for me to learn how to do all this technology, get my message online and send it out to the world. It's going to take work.
Yeah.
So is it easy? Is it hard? Okay. But the change, if we say, oh, it's hard to change, how does that feel? It's usually going to be something that drains you. So a new program to adopt is, it's easy for me to change and I'm going to have fun at it. And even when it gets challenging, I'm going to step up.
Do you know what? Okay, you just made me aware of this, which is very important, because once you're aware of something you said or it's programmed into your head, you can then change it. Because I wasn't aware that I said change is hard, but I think I do believe change is hard because it is a lot of work.
At certain levels, we have different beliefs applied to different things. Yep.
Right. So now if I can change that to change it to changes. See, I almost don't want to say easy. It's not
what if you said it's easy for me to change?
Easy for me to change.
Yeah. And you might be saying BS.
Well, I like that though.
Let me ask you a question. Is there anything that you've done in your life that you had no idea how to do it, and then you learned how to do it, and then you're like, this is easier than I thought?
Yeah, the Facebook Lives and these interviews and stuff.
You said that before. You said, and I commended you. I'm like, oh my goodness, like for you to be doing these right now, you know how many people are fearful of even like posting a picture online? So you're stepping up in a big way. You've done it, and now you're growing. So if you have a belief that says it's easy for me to change, and yet you think there's going to be challenges, I'm going to learn how to overcome them, that serves you maybe better than saying it's hard for me to change.
Right. I like that.
So always think about, how does that thought feel? That's a great question to ask yourself when you're checking in. How does that thought feel?
How does that
yeah, because if you're scanning for thoughts all day long, it's really tough to know every thought. It can be overwhelming. People are beating themselves up thinking, oh, I shouldn't be thinking that. And it also is like a catch-22 because they feel more guilty and they're getting into more negative energy. Check in with your feelings.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I know, I mean, I think I am aware that your feelings are your guidance system, you know, in life. So if something's feeling good, you're on the right track. If something's feeling off or wrong, you have to take a look at where you're going or what you're doing, because it's, I try to use it almost like the compass of.
It is the compass.
Yeah. So it feels much better to say that change is easy and I'm going to have to go through some challenges and learn. It feels good. It feels bad if I say it's hard. You feel, I would actually
And it also depends on, see, words are only as powerful as how they are meaningful for us. So they change. Like say somebody can drop an F-bomb and they feel like empowered, and somebody can be very offended.
Yeah.
So words are only as powerful as the meanings we attach to them.
Right.
So I teach in my presentations and seminars to remove 3 words from your vocabulary when it comes to your goals. And the 3 words are try, can't, and but. Now those words usually bring people down, or they create a wall, or people are creating their own wall when they say, I want to be more healthy, but it's going to be hard. What they've done is they've just negated what they want and they bring themselves down. So instead of but, you can always say, I want to be healthy and it may be challenging.
Right.
So and is a perfect word. In all cases, though, it's not a constant. Sometimes you're going to use those words and it gets you to feel good. It's generally speaking, the whole point of me teaching what maybe the vocabulary to take out of your everyday language is to help people feel better. So if there's one thing I do, even I play at the end of the show or my presentation, it's I feel good. Because I want people to feel that sense of relief. And it doesn't mean that you have to be happy and put a smile on your face all the time. It means be real about things, embrace those things, and when you accept them, when you have this awareness, you can then redirect and change the energy because you are the one that's creating it.
Right.
That's wow, are we
so
ever getting
powerful.
deep?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I love that whole feeling. I thought, so I would love, we'll finish it up here. You're amazing, but I would love people to become aware of their thoughts and how it feels. So if people right now are feeling fear, uncertainty, anxiety, people are getting depressed, to be able to become aware of how they're feeling and try to change it to joy, hope. You know what I mean? Like being able to, I guess,
a sense of relief. Even if people get a sense of relief, that is a step in the right direction. From people going from a state of despair, like, oh my goodness, I have no money, where's my money coming from, to, oh, everything's all right. It's usually they're going to say to themselves, bullshit. Excuse me, but that's a technical term.
Yeah.
So what that means is that if you can even get talk yourself to a better feeling state where you're like, you know, at this present time, wow, like things have stopped. Yet the government, I might be getting some funding from the government. I believe that, you know, the world's a plentiful place. And then if I stay, you know, that type of talk gets people to a state of relief. Mm-hmm. And so inching themselves into a better state is what I promote. Yeah. And I can tell you what are some of the things that work for me. Yeah. Like throughout the day, again, going through this, moving the body is really important. Because our mind and body are one. It really is connected. Yeah. And so when you move your body or when you smile, just like I'm doing and getting you to smile, that is important too. So smile is so simple and social distancing, but we can smile at each other, move the body, get out for a little exercise. And then what you mentioned about in the morning, you know, doing hypnosis or meditation, quieting the mind throughout the day. One of the things that I'll say is that before you go to bed is also a great time to quiet your mind with some hypnosis, meditation programs, and people can fall asleep to that. And it tends, there's a theory that whatever you fall asleep to is going to start your subconscious or, you know, that soul travel of where you're doing is actually being worked on at that time. Or
even being great, just even thinking of what you're grateful for before you fall asleep.
The most powerful thing you can do is being grateful or being in a state of appreciation.
Well, we're going to end it with that because I am so grateful for you and that you joined me, and you're incredible. And I know you've helped a lot of people because this has been amazing. And so we're going to end it with gratitude.
Cool.
Thank you, Wayne. And we will put in the comments a link to your website so people can get, you know, find your website. I think it is just waynelee.com, but we'll put in some links that they can find you and connect with you.
Actually, the one thing I wanted to mention is like right now, there's an exercise, and you went through it years ago, I'm sure, where I got you to think of a color, feel good, put your hand to your heart. Something that I've fine-tuned over the years, I call it the Magic Color Association. It's made just for that. It's actually been used by thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people, like online at my presentations. And people can download that on my website free, and it's a 5-6 minute exercise that gets them to feel good, but more than that, to trigger it anytime they want by putting their hand to their heart and thinking of a color.
Okay, that's amazing. Awesome. Okay, and people can do that. That's grateful.
And no one will be dancing out on the street like a chicken, or
what was that?
No one will be dancing out on the street like there's no adverse side effects like that.
Just feeling good.
Just feeling good.
Okay, perfect. All right, we're gonna sign off. Thank you so much. And yeah, okay, bye.